So, time management is the process of planning and exercising the conscious control on the time spent on specific activities, especially to increase the effectiveness, efficiency, and productivity. Time management system is a designed combination of various kinds of processes, tools, techniques, and methods. After time management comes your attendance management. So, attendance management in most organizations, as we have seen, is is now moved on to the digital way, right? So we have got the biometric system through which we are able to track the attendance of the employees, and also that gets that is connected to the payroll. So it is easier for us to be calculating the attendance of the people end of the month. So the screen is visible to all now. If you can just put it in the chat. Okay. So, employee attendance system helps you to track, store, and manage the ongoing operations on a real-time basis. The system supports in automating the salary process. It eliminates the employee time theft and also manages the attendance of the employees online. So, when we spoke last time, I believe all of us have said that we all have automated attendance management system at our own workplace, but also we manage it. We have a manual system also in place, so that we are always in charge of it and we can take control over it. So attendance management system in all our organizations are managed both electronically as well as manually. Now we come to the leave management system. The leave management system, which is also known as the LMS, is a platform that enables a company to easily and correctly allocate, track, and grant leaves, as well as allow for the employees to request and track their own leaves. Now, it is a process which might seem to be very simple. So, from outside, people they feel that okay, this is a simple process because people go apply for the leaves and the leaves are getting approved by their respective managers or supervisors, and HR just has to take out a report end of the month, and that is it, and that goes for payroll processing. But we all know that it is not so easy as how it sounds. It is very, very time consuming, takes a lot of effort, and some of the factors. So basically, what happens? So why do you think? Okay, we'll come to the challenges after this. So, what is the need for leave management system? So, what do you think is the need for leave management system? Can you tell me what are the needs for leave management system? Why do you think we need an automated leave management system?
So many of the organizations giving like PL, PL, and all. So for the
Correct.
every year, the company giving like sick leave, casual leave, and end leave. So based on their company leave policies. So whether the employee taken leave for that for the sustaining policies, or are they is they that is the employee taken more leave
So
comparing to
basically,
the
to keep a track of the number of leaves that the employees are availing. So it is basically for your record keeping. So you are keeping a record of the number of leaves that the employee is taking. So that is what Syed has mentioned. So it is because there are different categories of leaves. So how do you keep a track of which leave the employee has availed, whether it is casual leave, sick leave, or PL? So to keep a track of that. What else? What else is the reason for having a proper leave management in place? Why should we have a system of leave management? So, for the employee satisfaction as well as to keep a record, to run a smooth business operation, because we need to know the rosters or we need to know who is present when people before they take a long leave. There has to be a proper system wherein they put it into the system, because if that is not happening, then in that case, the entire business operation will go haywire. And the most important reason why we need to have a proper documented leave management system is your statutory compliances. Now, there are certain laws which have mentioned that employees need to get the particular number of days off for number of days that they have worked. Can you tell me any act which specifies that? So the Factories Act and the
Offline establishment.
Shops and Establishments Act, correct. So Shops and Establishments Act and Factories Act clearly specifies that any worker who is working in an commercial establishment should get off days and what should be the leaves, and everything is directly mentioned over there. So I will try and share the file. I don't know if it will go through. One second. So, as per the statutory norms, as per the statutory norms of Shops and Establishment Act and the Factories Act, employees are entitled to get off days for the number of days that they have worked. So that is the reason that we need to have properly scheduled leave management system in the company, which is totally error free, so that we are able to manage it properly. And there are regular checks which are conducted from the labor department, and in that case we have to also show it to them. In case of factories, there is also a format which is followed, which we do not need to follow in the companies as such. We have got our own LMS systems from which we can pull out the reports. But wherever there are manually the leaves are being controlled, so there are proper forms which are there as per the Factories Act, under which you have to put in what is the leave that has been, what is the off day, what is the leaves that the employees have taken, and in that way you have to track it properly. Okay, clear so far? So now the need for leave management system we have established. So the primary need for leave management system is to abide by the law, to have a proper record of which leave is being availed by whom for employee satisfaction, and to run the business operations smoothly. These are the four primary reasons why we need to have a proper leave management system. Now, what are the steps that you will follow to set up a leave management system? First of all, you have to create and communicate a leave policy to all employees. So, having a proper leave policy is very, very important. Even for your LMS now, certain organizations, what they do is they have separate leave policy for separate grade of people. So, for example, managers will get some extra days off, or some for so they don't have a uniform pattern of leave policy. If you don't have a uniform leave policy, it will be very difficult to enter it in the LMS or the leave management system. Why? Because LMS is a system, right? It is not a human thing which will remember, okay, so Saurav is a manager, so I should give him these many days of off extra or something like this. LMS is going through a particular pattern. So that is the reason that you have to have a proper leave policy which you have to mention. And then you have to configure the leave policy as per the organization and the statutory compliances. Now, when you have decided on implementing a leave management system in your company, what are the things that you will do? So, the first step is to prepare a clear policy communicating the leave policy and the absenteeism policy in your company. So this we have already said. So you need to have a proper policy in place which states your leaves and absenteeism. What is the company's decision on that? Now, leave policy will mean that what will be the number of PL, what will be the number of CL, what will be the number of sick leaves that you are giving to the employee. So we will come to the division after this. So basically, you have to have that clarity mentioned in your leave policy and the absenteeism policy. That after how many days of absenteeism will a person be considered as absconding? So these things should be a part of your employee manual. So when a new employee joins, you hand him over him or her the manual, and in the manual, your leave policy, your absenteeism policy, your absconding policy, everything should be clearly mentioned. Second is create the custom leave process. So most of the LMS systems which you will be taking or which you already have in place, they come with their, they come with the basic configuration inbuilt in it. So they have, so you can, what you can do is you can edit the leave request form. You want to add in certain extra things, you can add that in. You can put in your extra logo or something. So that is creating the custom. So you are customizing the leave process or the leave manual that is there. The third step is to configure the approval workflow. So you are now putting in who gets the approval. So if I am applying for a leave, what is the approval hierarchy of me getting approval for my leave? So if I apply for a leave, I should know that my application will be submitted to Mr. X, and then probably it will go to the HR, and then it will go to finance. Or I can keep it simple as an organization HR. I can keep it simple that my leave is getting approved by the manager, and in the month end, the payroll is totally getting calculated as per that. So that is totally up to the choice of the organization. What are their beliefs? What are their thoughts? So they can do the approval workflow as per that. Some organizations, what they do, they give the manager the first right to approve the leave. For the second, the review, it comes to HR. Okay, so that is one way of doing it. Other organizations, HR does not come into the picture. The manager does it, and the end of the month, the HR pulls out the report. The fourth one is configuring the list of holidays and updating it on the LMS. So there are certain days which are your public holidays. So that has to be already fed into your LMS so that the system automatically picks it up as an off day. And for people who have working on that off day, the system automatically generates a compensatory off for those people. The fifth step is to set the approval deadline, which means the timeline. So what happens is once I apply for a leave, the leave application goes to my manager, and email gets goes to him saying that Romy has applied for a leave, and you need to approve the leave within the next 48 hours or within the next 24 hours. So what is the deadline that you want to put for the approval? So that is the fifth step. The sixth step is making the leave balance visible and easy to track for the employees. So there has to be a system by which the employees are able to monitor and track their leave balances. Leave balance is something which is very dear to the employees, right? So people are working, and then against that they get the leave. So if we are not making it visible to them, or if there is any screw up in the leave balance, so then that will be taken very seriously by them, and they might come and charge you saying that I had 10, 20 leaves pending, and now it's showing as only 15, and where is the balance? Then you have to go back, calculate. So that is the problem that we have if we are manually managing the leaves. Then the seventh point is generating reports and merging it with the entire payroll system, so that end of the month there is no manual work. It automatically calculates the number of leaves that have been availed. So this is the entire process of implementing the LMS or the leave management system in your company. Now we come to the factors which have to be considered before the leave approval. So now once the leave has been generated, so leave request has been generated. So what are the factors that are to be considered for leave approval? First is eligibility of the employee. Is the employee eligible to avail that kind of leave? Does the employee have the sufficient leave balance to avail the leave? Second is it compliant with the leave policy? In terms of, like, for example, you cannot club your sick leave with your privilege leave, right? So sometimes the employees, what they will do, they will take 2 days of sick leave and 2 days of privilege leave, and they will club it both. So before you are approving the leave, you have to check whether it is compliant or not. Third is you have to check the staffing for the day to have a smooth business operation. And last one is the employee satisfaction, of course, because if an employee comes to you with a leave request and you keep on rejecting it, saying that no, it's very busy now, don't take leave, so the employee satisfaction will go down. What is the challenge that HR faces? So the the challenges that we face are, first of all, uninformed leaves are taken by the employees. Most of the times, the person will take the leave, and after that, the next day the person will come, and then he will think over it that okay, I have to apply the leave, and then there will be some distraction. He will forget, and like this, a week will go, and then HR will call. It's time to close the month end. Your this day is showing as no attendance, and then that person will put in the leave. Yeah, so this is one big challenge that HR faces. So the second one is in line with that. So leaves that have been availed but not entered into the system. Third one is more than entitled leaves have been availed by the employees. So what do you do in that case? Fourth is leave policy is not the same for all. So that is one problem, that in case your organization does not have the same leave policy for all, that will be a problem. And in case your leave balance details are incorrect. So that is one another challenge that is faced by the HR. So these are the various challenges that HR faces in a day-to-day basis. Now coming to the types of leaves that we have. So the types of leaves that we have are your privilege leave, casual leave, sick leave, and your public holidays. Okay. So as an employee, if you look at the labor legislation, what they say that an employee under the Shops and Establishment Act, it is said that an employee is entitled to get certain set of paid leaves for being absent from the work during his course of employment. The workers who have been employed in factories are subject to the various provisions which have been put in under section number 79 of the Factories Act also. So both the Shops and Establishments Act as well as the Factories Act mention about the leave entitlement of the employees. However, it is often a question of clarification for both the employee and the employer regarding the number of days that an employee can take or avail the leaves. So, what has happened is now it is mandatory that the leave details or the leaves that the employees can take is specifically mentioned and is it is circulated well among the employees so that they know that what are the number of leaves that they can take. Now, the Shops and Establishment Act, enacted by every state in India, it has a huge scope. So, under the scope of Shops and Establishment Act, what all is covered is first of all condition of employment, payment of wages, hours of work that is expected from the workers, opening and closing hours of your firm, interval for rest, overtime, and about the leaves. So these are the various things that Shops and Establishment Act covers. So now the employer is obliged to follow the minimum measures and conditions which is put in under the act, and so that they are obliged to give them that number of days of off. So as we saw the different differentiation of the leave, so first of all is your annual or your PL. Annual leave, some organizations call it as annual leave, some call it as privilege leave, right? So these or some organizations also call it as earned leave. So there are different nomenclatures to it. These are paid leaves to an employee and they can avail for long duration and they can also carry forward these leaves or encash these leaves. So these are the only leaves which can be carried forward or encashed. Generally, your casual leave and your sick leave is not carried forwarded to the next year. So you have to decide on your annual leave calendar. Most of the places they follow January to December. So what happens is the PL it gets carried forward to the next year. Now, how much of PL can you carry forward to the next year? What are your organization's decisions? So, as per the Shops and Establishment Act, an employee what should I say, can store the leaves up to 45 days. So, after 45 days has been accumulated, the employer has to encash the leaves. So encashment of leaves can happen either during the service. So during the service, when the number of accumulated leaves goes above 45 days, or at the time of resignation. So if an employee has resigned, so in that case, the employer can encash the leaves. So now in situations where the employee runs short of, for example, for short of sick leave, so what they can do is they can merge the leaves, but that is again at the discretion of the HR, or they have to decide like how genuine is the case. For example, somebody is going for a big surgery and they don't have that many number of PLs available. So in that case, they can merge it with the sick leaves. Okay. So that is about your annual leave. Now, what is a casual leave? Casual leaves are again your paid leaves which are availed for personal reasons, where the absence which is required is for 1 or 2 days, not more than that. So casual leave comes from the word casual, which the leaves which are taking casually. So it is only for 1 or 2 days that you can apply for the leave. So annual leaves generally have to be, or like has to be, not generally, it has to be mandatorily pre-approved. As per the Shops and Establishment Act, minimum 15 days in advance of taking that leave, the leave has to be applied and approved by the manager as per the act. Okay. The casual leave does not have any such binding on it because it is a casual leave. So it is taken for 3 days continuous, not more than that. Okay. Many companies they prescribe a maximum of 3 days of casual leave in continuity in a month as a general practice. And most places they do not allow the casual leave to be clubbed with the weekend or your holidays, because then what happens, the leave gets prolonged. So for example, let's say Dashera is coming and I take my CLs and I put in 2 PLs behind it and some sick leave, so that becomes 10-12 days of duty, right? So that's why what happens is, as per the leave policy, when if you are circulating the leave policy, there has to be clear notification regarding what kind of clubbing of leaves is allowed and what kind of clubbing of leaves is not allowed. Mostly, as a general practice, casual leaves are not allowed to be clubbed with any kind of weekend off or holidays, so that they can prevent a long leave duration. This leave is also not clubbed with your annual leave. However, if your annual leave is really less, then only, because see, if you are like basically if your annual leave is very low, then if you want, you can have the CL clubbed with it. Otherwise, there is no point, because if I'm clubbing my, let's say I want to take 6 days off, right, and I have lot of CLs with me, so in December my CLs will all expire. So what is my wish, what I do, I take 3 days of CL and 3 days of PL, and I take 6 days chutti, right? So my CL is all utilized, and my PL only 3 got utilized. So now what happens to the things that I did not use? So that gets accumulated, and the company is actually encashing. Company is paying you in cash, the person who is taking the chutti. So in that case, what happens, the question from will come to HR, that why was this kind of clubbing allowed? Because the goal of the organization, as HR, our goal is to save the company's money also. We have to take care of employee satisfaction, but also saving the company's money is important. So if we encourage these kind of practices, what will happen is that my PL balance will keep on getting increased, and then I will have to encash it at the end of the month, right? So now we come to sick leave. So what are sick leaves? These are paid leaves which can be availed for reason of illness. Sometimes if it is more than 3 days, the employer might want you to bring in a medical certificate. Most organizations, they say that if your sick leave is more than 3 days, you have to come back with a medical certificate. Sick leave is not encashable, and it is also, some states allow it to be carried forward, but as a general practice, sick leave and casual leaves, they expire at the end of the year. Only privilege leave is the leave that gets carried forward to the next year. Okay, so these are your major three types of leaves that you have in an organization: CL, SL, and PL. Now, the other types of leaves that are there in practice are your compensatory leave, which is also known as the COMPO. These are the leaves which you get in case you have worked on any public holiday. The fifth type of leave is leave without pay, which is your loss of pay. This is only when you don't have any leaves. So all your annual leaves are exhausted, your CL is exhausted, your sick leave is exhausted, but you still need to take some leaves. In that case, what you get is leave without pay. Then, of course, you have the maternity leave, which is as per the Maternity Benefit Act. So, these are some of the leaves which are entitled and which the person will get. Okay. So now these leaves. Now, how do you decide upon the number of leaves that an employee will get in a year? So, as per the Shops and Establishment Act and as per the Factories Act, it is stated that if an employee has worked for 240 days in an organization, then an employee is entitled to get leaves as per 1 day against 20 days of work. So 1 day of privilege leave. That's not a day off. Day off is separate. 1 day of privilege leave against 20 days of work. So which makes it annually about 13 to 14 days of leaves. So general practice you will see is that the organizations try to work around it. So either they will give you like a privilege leave of 12 days and 6 days CL and few days of sick leave. So they try to keep it within 20 to 22 days in a year, in a calendar year. So that is the general practice. Most places you will see that it is 15 days of PL and then 6 days of CL or 9 days of CL and vice versa for the sick leave. So we spoke about the leaves, the leave management system, and why is it important to have a proper documented leave management system in the company. Leave management system, it has to be always documented because you have regular checks from the labor department. Okay, so leave management system is basically a very important process because you need to have your leaves which are as per the statutory laws, and it has to be properly documented, and the policy for that has to be circulated. Now, the various types of leaves that an employee can avail are your privilege leave, earned leave, or annual leave, whatever your organization might want to call it. So these are the leaves which an employee can avail for a longer duration. Now, most of the organizations, they practice from 15 to 20 days of PLs in the company. These are the leaves which can be encashed and also can be carried forward. So you can carry forward leaves, an employee can carry forward leaves up to 45 days, which has been specified under the Shops and Establishment Act. So that is the maximum that an employee can like accumulate up to. That is what the law states, but some companies, they keep it at lesser number also, but mostly if you are following as per the statutory norms, it can be accumulated up to 40 days. These leaves can be encashed either once the person reaches 45, or at the time when the employee is leaving the organization. So that is when these leaves get encashed. Okay, the next kind of leaves are your casual leaves, which are to be taken casually, maximum 3 days at one time. Sick leaves are only for if you are not well. If the sick leave tenure goes beyond 3 days, in that case, the employee has to provide you with medical, the medical certificate supporting it. The other types of leaves, apart from these three common leaves, are your comp-offs or compensatory leaves, your leave without pay or leave, loss of pay leaves, and also your maternity benefit leaves. Some companies also give bereavement leaves. That is when somebody close has expired in your family for that. And some companies these days are practicing the paternity leaves as well. These are the types of leaves that you have. Now, as an HR function, one more important thing which you need to design and circulate is the holiday list. So, holiday list. Now, what is this holiday list? This basically are the list of the central government or the public holidays, as we call it, which is in excess of the annual leave, sick leave, and casual leave. So, these are additional. Now, what does the Act say? As per the Shops and Establishment Act, it says that as per the Act, a worker shall be entitled to 8 paid festival holidays and additional 5 more holidays which may be agreed or decided upon between the employer and employee. So 8 is mandatory plus 5. So 8 plus 5, it comes to about 13. So most of the organizations, they practice about 10 to 12 leaves is what they make a leave calendar of. Approximately 12 is minimum, and you can go up to 13 leaves. Okay, now what are those leaves? The What happens when do you circulate this leave calendar? So the holiday list is generally prepared in November or December, and you circulate it by 31st of December. You have to circulate it so that people are very well aware about the holidays that are there for the next year. Now, when you are preparing these leaves, what happens? All central and state governments have laws by which they declare the public holiday for the employees. So, this list comes out somewhere in November from the government, specifying the number of leaves that they are saying are to be given to the employees over the next 1 year. So they may declare 25 holidays in a year. Now, as HR of private sector employees, what you will do is you will have to pick and choose 12 to 14 holidays as per your business and as per your location. However, 3 leaves are mandatory, which is your Republic Day, Independence Day, and Gandhi Jayanti. And some states also follow 1st May. So these 4 leaves are compulsory. These 4 you have to give. That is Republic Day, Independence Day, Gandhi Jayanti, and 1st May. Apart from this, you are now left with about 9 leaves, which you will be doing as per the festivals and as per the state that you are in. Now, when it comes to finalizing a holiday list for a company, there are 4 major factors which you need to take into consideration. First of all, the state. That is the state in which your company operates. So that is very, very important for you to arrive at a holiday list which is for your organization. Now, if your organization is working in 2 different states, for example, you have a branch in Kerala as well as you have a branch in West Bengal, right? So, in that case, the holiday list will be as per the state of operation. It does not have to be one list which has to be followed across all branches, because every state has got its own specific leaves which they want. Every state has got its own specific type of leaves. So for example, in West Bengal, like Durga Puja is the biggest festival. So during Durga Puja, 4 days of leave. Saurav has a beautiful smile on the face. And so even I am a Bengali, so I know the sentiments which are associated with Durga Puja. So yeah, so Durga Puja will have your 4 days of leaves, right? But that will not be followed in Kerala. In Kerala, you will have different types of leaves because there they will follow the leave calendar which is more suited to that state, right? So the state in which you are, so first the first step that you will do is to obtain the information regarding the public holidays which has been circulated by your state government. So that is generally out in October, November, and this list is first out in the Gazette, which you know is the official newspaper of the state government, and then it is published in local and national newspapers. So it is very easy to find this list and then make your list as per that. Now, apart from this, you will take into consideration the other list of holidays which are there. First thing to consider for holiday list is your state that you are operating in. The second one is employee policies. So, what is the nature of the business? What are the employee demographics and preferences? And then, what are your customer preferences? So, for example, most of the IT companies, what they do, since they are working in a pattern where the most of the clients are US based or UK based, and then Christmas is a big holiday. So generally, what they do is they have the employees. They prefer the employees to take their PLs and all surrounding the Christmas vacation during the vacation time. So that is when you will see most of the people going on longer vacations because that time the work pressure is lower. So whenever you are making your holiday list, you have to take into consideration the state of business, the nature of the business, the employee preferences, and the customer preference. So these four things you have to keep into mind. Then the other thing is your restricted or optional holidays, which you can put in the holiday list. So so now in those 13, 14 days that you will have something else which is called as the restricted holidays. That is, for example, you can make, let's say, Janmashtami and one of the Eid as restricted holidays. So people who follow that particular religion, people who are Hindus would probably take leave on Janmashtami, but the Muslims might want to take a leave on some other Eid, right? So that is how you can also make it much more inclusive. So then you give an option to them that you don't, and that way the company also benefits because then everybody is not off on some particular day. There are some people who are working on those days. So the steps to prepare the holiday list is first of all gather your inputs. So check with the state government list and find out what are the leaves that they have announced for the upcoming year. Collect this information and also speak with the other HRs of your area, asking them that what are the leaves that they're giving. So that is a good way of networking and knowing that what are the leaves that they're giving. Make a draft proposal and show it to your management by the end of December, stating that these are the list of holidays that I propose to give for the next full year. Now, once your management is approved about it, you need to also get it approved from the labor ministry. Certain small organizations might omit this stage, but yes, if in case there is a audit from the labor department, they might want to check your holiday list and whether it is in line. So the best way is once your list is made, you take it to the labor welfare department, show it to the labor ministry, and you get it stamped from there stating that they are fine with the leaves that you are declaring in your company. Now, once the necessary approvals are done from your management and the labor department, what you do is you publish and communicate this to the employees latest by 31st of December, and you also display it in your notice boards, the relevant places, the public places in your company. You also put it up. So it is mandatory to put it up in the HR department and as well as in the public notice boards. Now, what is the payroll administrator's role in all of this in leave management system? What will be your role? First of all, is leave accounting. That is keeping a track of the number of leaves that the people have availed and what are their balances. So, various leave transactions are possible in the payroll, which is either to increase or to decrease the leave balance. So, you could either grant leaves or you could encash the leaves, or some leaves would go lapse. So, like for example, if there are casual leaves and sick leaves, you as a payroll administrator will have to, like, that will be of course system generated, but you have to still go back and validate and check that whether the CLs and the sick leaves have been removed or not. Okay. Then the year-end activities are there, so that is when you are encashing the leaves or you are taking them forward. You will be acting as the employee help desk, because people will be approaching you with various queries regarding their leaves, like what are their leave balance and how did the leave balance go so low, and what are the leaves that they can club. So your leave policy is supposed to be like, you have to know it very well so that you are able to guide the employees accordingly. And in case of any leave without pay that has happened in the month, you need to know, intimate the, you need to notify the finance department regarding it through the payroll system, so that they can cut the salary. So Jayashri has a good smile now. Okay, so that is when you take finance into your consideration, and you tell them that okay, for this time, this employee, there has to be leave without pay and salary reduction. And then you do the MIS reporting. That is, the payroll administrator needs to prepare the monthly MIS report related to the leave balance. So, what are the some of the reports that you will be preparing through your payroll system? First is your leave summary report. So the leave summary report has to be generated every month, which is the summary of all the leaves that the employees have availed. Now this has to be kept handy with you, because in case there is an inspection from the labor department, in that case you can provide it to them. Then is the detailed leave transaction report for the month. That is, who has taken what kind of, how many CLs have been taken in this month, how many PL, how many sick leave, how many people have been absent. So those are all which goes into your human resource reporting. So every month, to understand what has been the employee productivity, you need to show these kind of reports. Then after that, which other report is there? The negative leave balance report. So if somebody has finished all the leaves, then the negative leave balance report comes. Then your leave encashment report. If in this month you have encashed any leaves of any person, then that report has to be maintained. Absenteeism report and annual leave report. So these are some of the reports which you will be processing as a payroll administrator every month. So when you run your payroll system, these are the reports which you will be generating. So I will take you through them once again. So first is your leave summary report. Then is your detailed leave transaction report for the month, your negative leave balance report, leave encashment report, absenteeism report, and your annual leave report. All right. So these are the leaves which you will be reports which you will be generating.